Yo, Sanjay Uchiha here, people. Welcome to the first Dragon Ball Super review for 2018, Dragon Ball Super episode 122. Ah. Okay, so there's one thing I gotta say before getting into this one. And I've said already in a previous video, like anyone that actually thought Vegeta was gonna beat Jiren or something in this, you. Honestly, I don't know what you people were expecting, honestly. Vegeta had to lose this battle. But anyway, rate, comment, subscribe, and let's get into this one. So, episode 122 of Super honestly starts off the year on a pretty high note. And visually speaking, at least the episode really does well to sell itself, as the same guy, I believe it was Yuya Takahashi, that worked in episode 114, the battle against Kale and Caulifla before they fused. He makes his return to this episode, and of course, it definitely shows. The episode looks really beautiful, art-wise, models, and just the whole look of the episode. It just makes you wish that the entirety of Super had this guy on board. But I believe he's a freelance guy, based on what I've been hearing throughout the community. So, and it's a weekly series, so it can't be consistent all throughout the series to display this level of art, I guess. But anyway, art aside, the episode, I thought it was paced pretty well, as we finally get into the final battle between Universe 11 and Universe 7, obviously. And we kind of start off the episode with, obviously, the trademark Dragon Ball stare down, as well as the Daishinkan and the Grand Priest himself actually reducing the size of the bleacher, the audience, in terms of the stands. So everybody's essentially one area now. So there's that. The episode overall, it's pretty action-packed towards the latter half. The first half kind of drags on with the Daishinkan and the stare-offs and all that. And the thing is, what I definitely thought this episode did well, going into the second half, that is we weren't greeted with a lot of exposition, which has basically plagued the tournament a lot throughout this arc. And even when there was dialogue, it made sense. It complemented what was going on. Because one problem I had going into this episode, looking on the preview for it from last year, was, a lot of people wonder this as well, was how was Vegeta doing as well. And in a throwaway line that you may have just kind of, put to the back of your head, Vegeta mentions that Jiren was actually performing better in terms of strength and speed against Goku. So obviously Jiren was holding back, but obviously even without that line, I mean, who couldn't tell that either way? So there's that. The episode does pretty well to feed us action scene after action scene, which I would say they're pretty decently choreographed, to say the least. We have Goku going in first and pulling off this random stunt, and it's interesting. The dialogue in this episode seems to hint at something greater, which I always believe that dialogue in any form of fiction or entertainment or any long-running series should do, as long as it's not any gag or for funs and giggles kind of series. And it kind of helps to characterize Jiren in an interesting way. Granted, I know we don't really know much about his character in the anime adaptation, at least, but we've had little tidbits here and there with things like him wanting the Dragon Balls for a wish, and in this episode it seems to imply something greater with his question to Goku about why does he seek strength. So little tidbits here being dropped with Jiren's character, which I thought helped to sell the episode for the long run. Hope to get more on that in terms of his character as we progress through the finals of this tournament. Of course, we have Freeza against Dyspo and Gohan and 17 against Toppo on the other side. And power scaling wise, in terms of where these characters stand against each other, in terms of the showings, it stands up. As in, obviously 17 and Gohan, they shouldn't even be able to take on Toppo head on like that, based on Toppo's performance against Goku months ago when this arc was just starting. So that was good. There wasn't any bullshit there. And of course, Freeza taking on Dyspo, provided that Dyspo was comparable to Super Saiyan God Goku, it makes sense why he'd be able to handle Freeza that way in this episode. So at least in terms of showings, this episode was pretty spot on. Dialogue was pretty good. Characterization for Jiren. Pacing kind of slow in the first half, but it picks up with the action in the second half. And how could I forget the characterization for Vegeta in this? A lot of people have said that, you know, it's kind of they're tired of kind of seeing Vegeta walking in Goku's shadow. You know, Goku achieves this, then Vegeta. Goku achieves that, then Vegeta. But Vegeta's dialogue in this episode, I actually loved it, with him saying, you know, Goku Kakarot has his Ultra Instinct, but I'm doing things my way. That really helped to sell Vegeta in this episode, even though he did lose the initial round against Jiren in this. But it really helps to kind of sell his character. And once again prove that he really actually is the best written character in this franchise, I'd say. But all in all, he takes the loss in the end after firing the final flash, which Jiren admits wasn't half bad. So that's interesting. Interesting tidbit, or line of dialogue there for the power scalers to take into consideration, I suppose. But all in all, it was a pretty good episode, I'd say. Good way to start of 2017. Characterization, dialogue, actions, pacing is pretty good. Of course, based on the preview for 123, it seems that they may be bringing the whole Master Super Saiyan plot point or transformation from the manga, but I'll talk about that in another video, as well as it'll basically be a follow-up review to 122. But I think this review stands well on its own. But anyway, Sanjay Uchiha, let me know what you thought about the episode, people. Rate, comment, subscribe, and if there's anything I missed, we can talk about it in the comment section, I guess. See you in the next one.